Very good morning to all of you. 1st September 2024, celebrating birthday of legendary, iconic architect Charles Correa. So give a big round of applause, and all of us should remember he should rest in peace, rest in heaven. So just a small, we'll chant happy birthday for him. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Charles sir, happy birthday to you. I will just give you the preface of this event. When I approach Priyanka ma'am, in fact, we have been in touch for long, and we really wanted to do something creative, something out of the box. Because when she became the custodian of this beautiful premises, we were always struggling to do something together that would patronize the construction of this building, that would have enhanced, the logic behind of making of this building. Then last week when we discussed, I think nothing best can be the birthday of the legendary architect Charles Correa. In the meantime, Arvind Pratap Singh, can I see Arvind here? So Arvind is here. So Arvind actually came up with this idea that there are few urban sketchers from this community. So they wanted to sketch the different, part of Jawahar Kala Kendra. He just told me that there are sketchers who actually wanted to sketch the different part of Jawahar Kala Kendra. Then all of a sudden, as we were curating this, that I think none other than 1st of September. And trust me that this was that building. Amongst all the architects, we know that we have been reading this building as Bible, we're studying this building as Bible of our architecture. I remember when I presented NASA D.Y. Patil trophy, we presented this building and we even got a citation. And you won't believe, I was discussing with ma'am other day also, that Pranadeep sir will correct me that, if you see this building, we just take few steps on the plinth from the road level, and then we go down, and then there's a gentle gradient, So during the students' time, I always used to think, what is it for? You first climb up, you climb down, and then again you climb up. And finally you land up just below a portal. Then I don't know, it was my perception or what, but I realized that whenever we just drop down, we are able to see the entire dome and the strip. And when we gradually come up with a very gentle slope and finally we are in the portal, we just see the strip. So that really shows the kind of aesthetic experience of this architecture. I think there must be lots and lots of other things like this in this building, which Pranadeep sir would definitely tell us. And I think it's a high time when we Indians should celebrate our architects. We were proud enough to witness the scenario when we were accorded with Pritzker Award to architect B.V. Doshi, So our architects, our iconic architects, and for that matter, architect Charles Correa, I think we should take his legacy forward, because he was the one who always did the advocacy for the vernacular architecture, integrating that on a very urban fabric. May it be LIC building, may it be Kanchenjunga apartment, and the last building which he constructed in Pune, that aeronautical science building. I think he tried to create the build form on an urban fabric, but with the wisdom of local and vernacular architecture. I think this is what we all architects, designers should learn, that how important our regional principles were to us. And we can easily make out that he erected this building just to pay a tribute to the city planning of Jaipur, as you all know. And the kind of materiality involved in this project, which our contractors' friends will definitely tell us, I think it should be a learning lessons for us, And I would like to request Rekha, who has created this event, that there should be certain synopsis, one-pager synopsis, so that it can be circulated to all the designers, all the entire fraternity, so that what we learn out of this, from the experience of the people who were in the creative team, the people who were in the execution team, and the people who are the custodian. So I think this is very important for us. Without the stakeholders, we cannot do anything. If we have created something, if our stakeholders are not acting as a catalyst, trust me, none of the built form is going to grow like this. And today, we all should take a pledge, that we should do tangibly or intangibly promote this building by maybe word of mouth, by actually circulating the principles involved in this building to the students. I can see a lot of students here also. So I think the knowledge should dissipate, The very logic behind the creation of this building should go to the world. When today we are witnessing this thing here, I think this is the best moment. And you won't believe that since I'm the vice president of our national committee also, and moment we circulated this creative, trust me, there were not less than 100 messages where the people say, can we join this event, I think, what more we require? When so much of tribute, so much of respect is given to one of the most legendary architect of the country, rather, I'll say the globe. He was being recognized by everyone. And I even spoke to Charles Correa Foundation, operated by his daughter. So she couldn't come because she was already engaged in some of the planned activities. But she has told me that she can be in Jaipur anytime, and we can create a nice session with her. And all of you, please log on to the site Charles Correa Foundation, and try to contribute tangibly or intangibly, whatever we can do this foundation. I won't mind. I think today there is even a donation scope of 10 rupees or 15 rupees to that thing. We should make this foundation very strong. And ma'am, last but not the least, you being the custodian of this building, we are so happy to have policymakers like you who just over a one phone call or over a one discussion want to take such things forward, where the creator of the building is not being forgotten, it is always being remembered. And we have certain requests on behalf of Indian Institute of Architects, wherein we can help you to make this building more vibrant. I know you are managing to the best of your efforts, but still there are certain things. Being a designers, we would really like to recommend you. And I think one very strong and a loud request, ma'am, to you is that there should be some big portrait or a statue of Charles Correa at the building of the building. So with this, I think I wish you everyone a very happy birthday, and may our legendary architect rest in peace, rest in heaven, and may he keep on showering the philosophy of designing to all of us, and we learn more and more from him even when he's not amongst us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Tushar sir, for your words of enlightenment and fueling the inspiration within us again for architect Charles Correa. So now, moving ahead with the event, I would like to request our speaker, Mr. Pranedeep, to kindly take over and share his narrative of his interaction with Charles Correa and the making of Jawahar Kala Kendra. Over to you, sir.
Can you hear me? Yeah, good morning and welcome to you all. I feel really privileged today to be here, to remember Charles. I was fortunate enough to start working with him about a year after I graduated. I was a green on. Yeah, I had done some work earlier, but new in Jaipur. And for me, it was really eye-opening. It was an enlightenment, and those things I still carry with me today. There are things which young architects learn, which, you see, one of the things I learned was that good architecture is made by space and form and not by superficial embellishment. So that's something which I carry with me today. Today when I look around, I see a lot of what I call quick fix architecture. Clients are in a hurry, architects like to follow the same, and everybody wants to do things which are quick and loud. Loud messages, like what Charles Correa was doing was what I call slow architecture, like the slow food movement. Yeah? So when things are cooked with love, with local ingredients, with patience, that's what we call slow food, which is much more wholesome and has subtle flavors, which we, only lovers of food can appreciate, and much more healthy than fast food. So what Charles did here was slow architecture, done with patience, inspired by historic architecture and local materials, and love for the whole process of creating. That's what is, I think, the most important thing that I learned from there. That I wish we would have a slow architecture movement rather than going on with this quick fix architecture. So I was probably the youngest guy on the team, because these gentlemen here with me, they are about the same, but they were already, kind of embroiled in the project when I came. And I have to say they were very, very kind to me. None of them treated me like a newbie that I was. They listened to me, and I also have to say that they, the way they responded to Charles was incredible. Because when I came, I came from Ahmedabad. Somebody said I returned to India. No, I returned from Ahmedabad. So I returned from Ahmedabad. In Ahmedabad, you see, in Gujarat, the government culture is a little different. Over here, there, it's a little bit, it was at that time. Now it's, of course, very different. 35 years have passed, but at that time it was a little bureaucratic. And I expected that these people, they do contracts for government, and, when Charles comes and he makes and they would consider him to be a little fussy, because he was fussy. So, will they have the patience for all this? But the entire team, some of them are not here today. They could not join us. Mr. Shyam Sundar Sharma was the main person in charge, the executive engineer here, and Mr. Rakesh Bhargav, and then they had their whole team. I think they did a wonderful job. They went out of their way, and that's all because of Charles. Because he was able to connect. You see, when he came to Jaipur, he used to meet the secretary PWD, he used to meet the chief engineer, he used to meet the secretary of the art and culture, but he also connected with the people on the site. He had a very dignified demeanor, but he had a subtle sense of humor, and he would ask some questions. And I think these people everybody realized that this is when he's trying to be humorous. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, because he did it with a serious expression. And so there are some things, if I may go into a few incidents, when they did the paint inside this administration block, it was called Mangal Mahal. That's another story, I'll tell you about it. But Mangal Mahal, Mars, it's red. Red is the color of power. And they said administration block ko lal karte hain. So they made it red inside. It was, of course, outside was all red in any case with the stone. And they painted it. Charles came to Jaipur, and he said, this looks fake. We've got real stone outside, and this looks as if we are trying to fake stone inside. As if we have run out of money, and so we painted it the same color as the stone. So the whole thing was repainted, unheard of in a government project. Red was scraped off and the whole thing was painted white. And then he came back and he said, no, this doesn't work at all. So he called across a friend of his, Mr. Jain, who was the curator at the Crafts Museum in Delhi, Jyotindra Jain. So Jyotindra Jain came down to Jaipur. Charles came from Bombay at that time, and then they sat here, and in the administration block, in the open, they sat there, and I think for a couple of hours they were talking about the color, what color it should be. So finally it was painted red again. And the team of engineers was wondering how they're going to justify it in their measurement books, and that, the same building was painted thrice. But Charles got away with it, not just because he moved at the upper level, but because he connected with the people on the ground. And what this shows is that his idea that everything must be perfect. For him, something being good enough was not good enough. It had to be perfect. He would keep working at it. I have to tell you, related to this, at the office in Bombay, there was a model. There were many models made. There is a model lying here. There were two models in the office. One was form, and the other model had all the colors. Whatever colors you see around here, they were painted in that model. And the model maker would call the office, and when he would say, Charles hai kya? He would be told Charles is not in the office today. So then he would come to work, because he said, if I go when Charles is there, he'll keep changing again and again. So he would come to work when Charles was not in the office. And in spite of doing all that, having a model, making colors, changing the color, and then they came here and then they had to change it twice again. You see, so what I'm saying is that sometimes you have to work to get things just right, and it's not possible with as many models, or these days they don't even make models, they make digital models, which is like, you don't see anything. So, so I think when we are remembering Charles, we must also talk about slow architecture. Let's have a slow architecture movement where we do things thoughtfully, with passion, and not just a quick fix. And let's look for these subtle flavors. Let's do something which people can enjoy. This building here, which we have all gathered in today, is we all know that it's got certain traditional elements which we all know. The stepwell in the center and the domes and things like that, some jalis, some chhatris. It has some traditional elements, but it is mixed with innovative ideas. This building belongs and it accommodates both. We all feel a sense of belonging here, and the building looks as if it belongs to this place. That is the remarkable thing which you achieve with doing this. Just one last thing. I guess the time is over, that's why you guys applauded. So I said I'll tell you the story about the Mangal Mahal. When this project started, all the drawings which came from the office in Bombay, they were labeled administration block, cafeteria block, museum 1, museum 2, workshop, documentation, library, and theater. About halfway down the line, suddenly everything was changed. And those days there was no computer, so they had to blade out the name on the drawing, and the administration became Mangal Mahal, cafeteria became Chandra Mahal, and so on. Rahu, Ketu, Budh, Shukra, all the mahals came. So that was the kind of thing only Charles could do. And, that kind of attention to detail. And this is very different from, this attention to detail is different from what we as young architects understood as detail. You see, we looked at details as construction details, working drawings. But I have to tell you that for Charles, it was not like that. The detail was the right shade of red, the right proportion. So that's what I think we all need to do. Thank you for listening to me.